Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our very first ever Hockey Raiders fantasy draft. We've got 12 of our regular Hockey Raiders contributors for videos, audio, podcasts. And we've got Devin popping in here at the very last second right before we get going too. This is going to be a ton of fun. Hey, how you guys doing today?
Hey, thank you for having us.
Doing good.
Couldn't be better.
Good.
So for people that are watching this is what we're going to be doing. We have a fantasy draft. We know fantasy draft season starting right now. The regular season's kicking off right away in the NHL. We're going to be drafting our teams here in about 3 seconds. The first pick is up, and that's going to biscuits and sauce. Kyle's going to get the first pick. I wonder who he'll take. Here's the rules while he makes his selection, which probably shouldn't take very long for us to figure out who he's going to take. You got to take 10 players, 6 of which are forwards, 2 of which are defensemen, and 1 goalie, and then there's a utility player. You can pick anybody that you want to. Okay, so those are the rules of the game. There's no specific rookies, Calders, any of that stuff going on here. All we're doing is we're worried about points, shots, or shot blocks, hits. Goalies get points for shutouts and wins, things like that. And we'll walk through all of that as we do this. But Kyle's up first. He's getting the first pick. So I don't know, Kyle, you got any thoughts about who you're going to take here first overall?
Oh man, you're leaving me with 20 seconds left. I feel like I
Let
need
the clock
to
run down.
throw a dart at the board right now. So
don't wait too long in case you hit the wrong button.
Yeah, right. So I think that's an obvious choice right there. The first person that's going to score 150 points in a season in a long time. So I think that's an obvious choice for Connor McDavid.
Yes. So Kyle goes with Connor McDavid at number 1. Colton Hughes. Colton's phenomenal team. He's up second. Now there's a few choices here. Like, you could go with his Oilers teammate. You could go with somebody like Mccann. I don't know. What are you thinking here, bud?
Well, I know we're weighing goals a bit more. So Matthews is interesting, though I know he's, let's see what it says when I'm here.
3 games.
I mean, that's not very much. McKinnon's an interesting one, but I mean, you see, I think Draisaitl's supposed to be playing with McDavid right away off the hop here. So
he was practicing with him today.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm feeling pretty safe taking him here. So I'll take him second.
All right. Leon Draisaitl goes number 1, too. So for anybody who knows that I cover the Oilers, that's a bummer for me. So who's up next? Devin. No, wait. We've got Sean's team. Sean's swag team is up next. So I don't know. What are you thinking, Sean?
Are we
frozen?
Are we going to learn about his team name? I think we need to know what's the story behind the swag.
I think he ran out of a little bit of swag here.
Well, it looks like he's picked
McKinnon. So that leaves me. I'm next. Scorio McFlurries. So we're gonna go with
Julian's taking Matthews.
I should really do that. You know what? You're kind of convincing me. I was debating Kucherov here, just because of the playoff he had. But you know what? I'm gonna stick to my hometown team. Just because Colton called me out there, and I'm going to go with Austin Matthews.
All right.
He's not worried about the week he's going to be missing at the beginning of the year, I guess.
No,
so
doesn't matter.
Surgery be damned, right? All right, who's up next? We've got who's on the board now?
Devin's Dandy team.
Devin's
Dandies. Why is it not Devin's Dr. Peppers?
I didn't get sponsored in time, unfortunately. But we're still working on it. We'll get a logo behind the crease. I'm thinking I'm gonna pick a guy who isn't spending this whole season on LTIR. Gotta be the guy from Tampa Bay, right?
I left it for you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so that puts me up. Hey, so for those that don't know, we can go forwards, defensemen, goaltenders. I don't think it's early. It's too early to take a goaltender at this point, even though Vasilevsky might look like an interesting option there. Man, there's a few choices, but I got a feeling that Artemi Panarin from the Rangers is probably going to be close, if not getting 100 points. So I'm going to take Panarin from the Rangers.
That's a really good pick.
Yep.
Yeah, I could see him getting 100 to 110 this year, actually.
Yep.
All right. So who's up next? Alex is up next.
It's me. Yeah. This is interesting because Vasilevsky is tempting, but you know what? The goals are important. I'm an Italian guy. I love my pasta. And I gotta go. I gotta go with him. Despite it being a Boston Bruin, I'm going with David Pastrnak right now.
The guy on the Leafs podcast is taking a Bruin.
Yep.
First player too.
The guy that used to be on a Leafs podcast.
I am looking for work now, so whoever wants me, I'm a free agent.
So that was Peter's pick. Who we got up next?
Yeah,
Better than you.
Better than you. So is that Adams up, right?
Yeah. So for this pick, there is some good depth, especially with goal scoring in there, but you want to make sure that your blue line is set when you're doing a fantasy draft. So I got to go with Cale Makar out of the Colorado Avalanche.
Nice.
I know it might be a little bit early, but it's better to shore up that blue line early than be stuck with third pair defenseman in the later rounds.
Okay, well, our first defenseman off the board, I think, right? So Alex is up next.
Adam, you were scaring me a little bit with the way that you were seeing that pickup, because you were making a good point and thinking the exact same I was about how there's lots of good goal scoring options still available. So I'm going to take it in a different direction. And on behalf of Alexi 44's boss team, I'm proud to announce my first selection as the man who won the Conn Smythe this year, I believe.
Yeah,
Andre Vasilevsky.
All right, so first goalie off the board.
There we go. All right, so Matthew's up, right?
Yes.
Happy birthday, Matthew.
Happy birthday, Matty.
I don't know. It's Matthew's birthday today.
Well, I'm going to go and take Nathan McKinnon's line mate and Mikko Rantanen.
Solid pick.
Part of that super line in Colorado there.
All right, so that puts us. Sean is next, and for those that don't, just a reminder, quick goals: 3 points per goal, 2 points per assist, 1 point bonus point for each power play and shorthanded point, 0.5 bonus points for hits and block shots, 3 points for a goalie, 5 points for a goalie shutout. Okay, so Sean, you got a few choices here. What are you gonna do?
Thanks for the reminders during my clock. I appreciate that.
I already figured you knew what you were doing.
Listen, I mean, it's my first pick, and it should come as no surprise if you look on my wall. I'm going to go with the guy that's going to finally take the torch from Patrick Kane on the Chicago Blackhawks, who are going to impress a lot of people this year. He's a little guy, but he throws his body around. He scores lots of goals. So, Alex DeBrincat, welcome to the Oak Villains.
The man from Michigan.
Wow.
That might be the first real off the
board. Yeah.
The categories he covers in this specific league is right on.
Yeah.
All right, Jordan's fantastic team. Jordan's up next.
Alrighty, so for the first of my back-to-back picks here, I know this guy's criticized all over Toronto, but I gotta go with right winger Mitch Marner with the first of my picks there. He's just so good. He's probably going to put him close to 100 points, even with Matthews out. And then this next one's interesting here because you're building center in there. So it's a toss-up between Sebastian Aho and Braden Point for me personally, and I got to go with Braden Point.
Good
So for those that don't know, it's a snake draft. So we go 1 to 12 and then 12 back to 1. So now we're back to Sean again.
Yeah, which is the perfect time to explain another rule. So thanks again, Jim.
Hey.
Certainly early to be looking at goalies, but as one myself, I am biased to say that they're the most important position on the team. And that being said, I'd like mine solidified. So Connor Hellebuck is joining the crew.
Okay.
Okay. Well, 2 goalies off the board at this point. Matthew's up next again.
It's a tough one. Well, I'm gonna go and grab Sebastian Aho here. Carolina Hurricanes. He's just keeps scoring every year, and it's gonna really help my team.
So he was talked about, but wasn't taken, and that must have just convinced Matthew to go with that one for his birthday present. So Alex is up again.
Yeah, so got my netminder out of the way, and it seriously pains me to do this, considering who I root for. But at the same time, this guy torches me in fantasy every year, and I don't think I've ever picked him in any league. So, Brad Marchand, welcome to the team.
Another Leafs guy just going against the grain.
Is that
I was going to say this? I at least took a
we're
good
looking
goal
for two new holes on the podcast now.
Someone better talk to Forbes.
Peter, we're renaming our show the Traders Podcast.
There you go. Andrew doesn't like it.
Yeah.
All right, Adam, Besser than you is up again.
Well, for my pick, I'm going to go with one of the most underrated players in the entire league. He had 58 points last year in 50 games. He's been around a point a game per season. He just signed a massive is a $10 million contract. The captain of the Florida Panthers, Alexander Barkov.
There you go.
Ooh, I was thinking about. I was hoping he would stick with me. I'd had 2 to go, but didn't make it there. All right, Price is Right, or the Price is Right.
I got torched last time by picking a goal scorer. Ovechkin right there looks really, really tempting. But you know what? Hellebuck went off the board. Vasilevsky went off the board. I'm going with the next best available goaltender, and I'm going to take Robin Lehner.
Good call.
Okay, well, it's back up to me, and I don't know if this is the right move or not because he just signed a massive contract. He had a fantastic rookie season. I'm thinking he could be good for 70 to 80 points if he can continue it. I'm going with Kirill Kaprizov from the Minnesota Wild.
I like it. I think it'll be good. I think he'll be fine there.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
Yeah,
that's
all
a
right.
good pick.
Devin's up again.
You know, I liked Peter's line of thinking there with the 2 big goalies off the board. So it's time to get your goalie. Otherwise, you might miss out. So I'm going to go with a guy who I think is going to rack up a lot of wins just because he plays for the Colorado Avalanche. Darcy Kemper, get on my team.
Yes.
That's my guy. That's what I wanted.
Thank you all for taking goalies so early. You guys are just leaving one of the best goal scorers in the game to me for my second overall pick, especially in a hits league. So
that's true.
You know what I mean? Like I got goals and we got hits counting. So I'm going to go ahead and take Alex Ovechkin and just tee up slap shots from the power play for me.
There you go.
Yeah, power play points, hits, shots, goals. I mean, all sorts of crazy stuff's coming from Ovechkin.
Wow.
All right, Sean, you're up next.
It's nice to join you. I think I got the technical difficulties sorted out. Hit on that first pick, McKinnon, best power forward in the league, in my opinion. That was a sure thing. Really upset about losing Alex Ovechkin, the pick before me. That stings. I'm not going to forget that come trade time. I'm a little surprised he's still on the board. I don't know how you can't go with Showtime Patrick Kane right now. I think that the Blackhawks are on the upswing, and he's going to be leading that charge for sure. No disrespect to the Brinket, but
yeah, that he almost escaped the top 20 is pretty amazing. Actually, when you can think about it. All right, Colton, what are you thinking here?
Well, I was thinking goalie, and I really wanted Kemper. Now it's like, do I want to keep going forwards? I think I'm going to take another defenseman off the board here. And a guy, again, in Washington that I think could put up quite a few points. He's just feeding pucks to Ovi. So I think I'll take John Carlson with my second one.
There you go.
Yeah, no, that's a good pick. He's a steady offensive guy all the time.
Yeah, he's going to
play in all situations, right?
Yeah. All right, welcome back, Kyle.
Biscuits and sauce. Hey. He feels like he's probably been sitting there for a while.
This is still going on, eh? So
that's what you get for taking McDavid.
Hey, it's all right. He's going to score more than half of all your teams, so it doesn't really matter. So you guys are bringing up a lot of interesting points while we're going back and forth on this, and you know, I'm pretty sure I have my scoring set. So I got to kind of look on the back end, and I'm kind of leaning between 2 guys. I don't think I'm going to take them with my back-to-back picks. But and I'm also not going to give them away just in case I happen to get them. End up coming back.
Tell us.
The guy I am going to go with is probably the only other goaltender that I think is going to put up a lot of wins this year, and that's going to be Philip Grubauer from Seattle.
Oh, there you go. Good pick.
If I could actually hit that before I run out of time and end up.
Kyle knows how to just get her down to he had 3 seconds left to make that pick.
All right, so
and you get to go again too.
Look who's still up. The worst 3 words you want to hear in golf, right? You're still away. Shoot, where's my guy? Now I don't even know where my okay, there's my cue. Again, I have a couple of guys I wanted to go with. I was still kind of leaning back end, but I think I got to, you know, like you said, this is a goal-centric league. You know, a lot of focus on assists, power play points, and some hits as well. And so with that pick, I'm going to take Jonathan Huberdeau from the Florida Panthers.
Great pick.
Yeah. A little surprised he's still on the board, to be totally honest.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay, cool.
For my next one, again, I don't know if I love any of the goalies right now. I think a guy last year that kind of struggled a bit off and on, but I think it put up a lot of points this year on a team that I think is going to be a lot better is Mika Zibanejad. So I think that's who this one.
Yeah.
He signed a big deal.
He was one of my other guys.
Yeah, right. I don't know. Pressure on him, pressure not on him. $8.5 million for 8 years, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the way he's been playing in the preseason, it looks like the pressure is not on him. I mean, he looks like he's been, you know, out there and just wheeling and dealing.
Yeah,
all right, Sean, you're up, bud.
I'm glad you took Mika. No disrespect to him and that beautiful ticket you signed, but I will say this is a bit more of a homer pick. Thank God, because he's exactly who I want to just champion this back end right here. Adam Fox, welcome to the squad.
Okay.
Good one.
Here he won an award recently.
Fox is one of the guys I had on my board, so you sniped me back.
Is anybody at all concerned that he doesn't have a repeat season from last year?
I think he'll have a bit of a slump. It might not be like a complete drop off, but I don't think he's going to be as productive.
He's not going to win the Norris Trophy again.
No.
Can you imagine? All right, Julian, you're up.
So I was thinking Fox. I think I'm going to look to defense now. I still think there's a lot of good players at the forward position on the board. So I think this guy is still the best defenseman in the league. And, he plays in all situations and top power play, especially in Tampa Bay. So I'm taking Victor Hedman.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with Hedman on your
you can't.
team.
No, I was hoping it would drop down to me.
That's
what I was hoping for.
I had him queued up.
Everybody was.
Only Devin's getting screwed if that's who he wanted. Devin, you're up next.
Well, the guy I have in mind has been talking a lot of stuff lately about how he and his team need to do better this season. And when you talk like that, you usually got to back it up. And this is a hits league. This is a block shots league. He's also not a bad forward. So I'm thinking Matthew Tkachuk is going to be on my dandy team.
Okay.
Calgary's going to be an interesting team to watch this year, just to see what they do. All right, so it's me, and you guys are all scaring me with all these blue line picks. So I think I'm going to have to go with the blue line. I don't know if I was ready to take one quite yet, but he's still on the board. I'm not sure what Vancouver's going to do this year. I have a feeling they're going to be a much better team than they were last year. And Quinn Hughes is going to be a guy who runs pretty much everything with OEL. So I'm going with Quinn Hughes on this one.
Another guy that's hoping.
Birthday boy's getting disrespected today.
Yeah.
All right. Price is Right is up.
I'm torn between two players right now. One who's big in hits, but one I'm expecting a really big bounce season, and not just because I'm from Toronto. I really do think John Tavares, it looks so great early on. He's determined. I'm going to go with John Tavares as my next pick.
Yeah, you're just trying to get back on the podcast now.
Yeah. Hey, little column A, little column B there.
Peter, I had him queued up, and I was just about to say that I'm taking him as a cleanse pick after what Julian was saying when I took the Marshall.
You got to look at somebody else now, bud.
Just take Nick Ritchie.
Better than you. Adam next. He's got 40 seconds. Adam, what are you thinking here?
So for me, I'm going to go with the kid that I saw score his first NHL goal live in the building a couple years ago. He just signed a big 3-year deal.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
I got to go with out of Sweden, Elias Pettersson.
Oh.
I love how you
I'm
said
gonna
that.
let you into the what's cracking call later, man.
I'm recording tonight, just saying.
For anyone that doesn't know, Matt is the producer on all of our shows, and he essentially has the last word on everyone.
You guys are gonna get such a rough at it. Oof.
Yeah. Wait till those Chirons show up.
All right, Alex, 35 seconds. What are you thinking here?
Well, I'm hearing you guys talk about how quickly defensemen are being taken, and I've taken this guy in a couple leagues already, and he very much excites me for this year. I really liked what he did last year, so I am going to go back to the state of Florida and select Aaron Ekblad.
That's a good pick.
That's a good pick. That's a good
Scared
pick.
me for a second there.
Florida's going to be a good team this year,
He's
too.
he's going to be solid. He's got a lot to prove this year.
Hopefully he's healthy and good.
Yeah,
that's a key, right? As long as he stays healthy. Yeah. All right, Matthew.
And now that you've messed up my last two picks I was going to do.
Take You got 40 seconds to change your mind. So
yeah, right.
While he's thinking, just a quick reminder, you've got goalies and defense. So
I'm going for a guy that's going to be on the power play with two of the best players in the league. That's going to be Tyson Barrie.
Oh,
you're about to do Zach.
I was hoping I might be able to sneak him later.
Racking in the power play points.
Nice one.
All right, Sean.
Well, I'm going to go with the defenseman who's actually good on the Oilers. I'll make sure that he's out there when McDavid does get the points that matter most.
Defense.
In terms of balancing these rosters out, obviously we do need to make sure we have one from every slot. So let's get Nurse on my team here.
Yeah, There you go.
Good for hits,
Yeah.
good for block
With
shots.
his new ticket.
Chirps are flying already. Oh man.
Back, Jordan.
Alrighty, so we're
Two in a
talking
row
about
now.
defense. We're talking about defensemen here, So there's a few options. I do have some Leafs gear posters in my background here, so I might face some scrutiny for this pick. But this guy, in my opinion, is one of the most underrated players in the whole league. He had 106 hits last year for the Boston Bruins. I will be taking defenseman Charlie McAvoy.
Wow,
right.
unloyal fan base we have. Unloyal.
I'm gonna have to start taking Calgary Flames players, I guess.
Get the rivalry going, man.
That's right. All right, Jordan, you get to draft again.
I know we're doing this again here. Now, I am going to go goaltender here, I believe. And I'm kind of surprised by some of the options. But this guy did win the Vezina Trophy last year and was traded for basically nothing. I challenge you guys. Who was he traded for? Tell me.
That's a good
Nobody
question.
can tell me. So, but I'm taking this guy, Marc-Andre Fleury, because you need to have a presence, and he's also pretty good still.
Yeah, the question will be, how good is Chicago?
I think that team's very
I think
underrated
they'll
this
be
year.
okay. I think they'll be good.
I'm upset.
Well, Sean can tell us, right? Sean's
I was
up
just
again,
gonna
so.
say.
Well, straight from where Fleury just came from, which I'm excited that he is a Blackhawk, because that's a move that I didn't necessarily agree with right off the hop, but given the rest of the activity in Chicago throughout the offseason, it started to make a lot more sense. So good pick up there with Fleury. He's going to get a lot of gameplay, and he's going to get some wins there. But coming from where he just came from, I'm going to add a player who's likely going to be up for Selke consideration for the first time in his career. Make sure that we get some goals, get some points, and get someone who's going to be out there making an impact for Vegas. Let's get Stone over on my team.
Nice.
Good one.
Nice.
I would say nice,
Okay.
but I was planning on taking him. So no, not nice.
Same here.
All right, birthday boys up
All
again.
right. As much as it pains me, I'm going for a Toronto Maple Leaf here. Jack Campbell. And my
There you go.
goaltender.
Nice. Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Jack
Yeah.
Campbell's going to send a gift basket to your front door for taking him.
Peter Mrazek might have something to say about that pick.
All right, well, we're back on the board here,
We'll see.
and I'm going to take a guy who's known for a couple things. Known for the big contract extension that he signed this summer, and also known for completing this ridiculous move, not once, but twice. Andrei Svechnikov, welcome to the team.
Good one.
I think he's got a big
So-
bounce back year. this year.
Adam, I have to interject real quick and say that if you grew your beard out just a little bit, you would look like Jack Campbell. I'm watching the whatever the
All or nothing.
all or
All or
nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah, right now. And oh man, what a great guy he is though. So
Soupy, yeah, exactly. I didn't really like the fact that they focused on the Leafs to do the first one, but whatever.
Trust
So
me, I'm
I'm-
not happy that they did either.
But you know what? It's a great ending. You can't write it any better. It made everybody happy to watch them blow that 3-1 lead again. Okay, so I'm gonna go back, or I guess for my in the crease goaltender today, I'm gonna go with where is he? The goaltender out of the New York Islanders, Ilya Sorokin. Now, I know that this could be a little bit of a risk because Semyon Varlamov is there, but I have a feeling that based off of last season, Sorokin is going to be their starter. And with Varlamov, there's talk that he might be injured. They don't know necessarily how long he's going to be out for, if he is going to be out for. I just feel like it's Sorokin's time on the island.
That seems like the talk of most Islanders fans. Pretty much everyone I play roller with is Islanders fans. Pretty brutal on my end, but it seems like he's the heir apparent to the point where he's going to take it over this year, I think.
All right, Peter, they gave you
All
26 seconds to make your choice.
Gonna make this easy. Former James Norris Trophy winner in 2020 and first team All-Star, all-around player on the Nashville Predators, Roman Josi.
Good pick.
Oh, good
Yeah.
one.
Underrated defenseman for sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right, it's up to me again, man. I got some choices here, and you guys have taken a lot of really good goalies, so I'm wondering if I should even bother at this point to take one so soon. So I'm thinking I might go back to a forward. There's a few good choices on the board here. I do think the Islanders are going to be a very good team this year, and I think that Matthew Barzal is going to get a ton of points. So I'm going to stick with that, and I'm going with drafting Matthew Barzal here for my next pick.
He's going to be great for the Bruins. Oh, never mind.
Oh, jeez.
All right, Devin, you're up.
Well, one of the big, I guess, storylines heading into this offseason was where was Dougie Hamilton going to sign? And as we all know by now, he's signed with the New Jersey Devils, and he looks like he's going to be their number one guy, going to play a lot of minutes, rack up a lot of points. Sounds like a guy I want on my team. So, Dougie Hamilton, get on my team.
Nice.
There you go.
So you guys are kind of scaring me now with all these goalies getting off the board. Sorokin was going to be my kind of under the radar guy, but he went earlier than I thought. So I'm going to give a little bit of a panic here and go to, someone who's just going to get a bulk of the starts, just to make sure that I have a guy who's going to be able to provide that for me all season long, as long as he's healthy. And I think the team is one of the best remaining teams available for goaltending. So I'm going to take from New York with love, Igor Shesterkin.
With love.
Oh, there's my guy.
With love. All right, Sean, you're up.
All right, so you guys kind of made this pick for me because not necessarily, here's a tease, not the guy I want to take 46th overall right now, but, when you draft Nathan McKinnon as your first selection, you can't not go with Landy.
No.
I'm surprised he made it this far.
I don't think he would have dropped him.
This draft is just Matt going, no, every
Happy birthday.
Yeah, the opposite of how he wanted his birthday to go, right? All right, Colton, you're up, bud.
Yeah, I think I really wanted Shesterkin. Jeez, I'm looking here. It's, I think a guy I think I'll take a forward that I think is going to score a lot of goals this season. He seems to be getting better and better, and I don't think he gets recognized a ton across the league right now, but I think I'll go with Kyle Connor from
Good pick.
That's a great
Very good pick.
Well, that was a great pick because that was my next pick. So
by default, that makes it fantastic.
Fantastic job, Colton.
Yes, thank you.
Well, okay. So
he's all flustered now.
I really am.
Right.
So it actually kind of makes it easy because I was kind of going back and forth between two Winnipeg Jets. Actually, no, I think I'm just gonna go with my gut here. All right, so I'm going to go with a couple of guys that are big power play producers, and both are expected to get close to 80 points this season. For the first one, we're going to take Max Pacioretty from the Vegas Golden Knights. Okay. And then on my second one, I'm taking Steven Stamkos from the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah,
I'm going goal scoring this year.
Very good. Sure.
Yeah.
All right, Colton, you're up again. So now everybody was bragging about your last pick. Can you do it twice in a row?
Well, I don't know if I actually even like this pick I'm about to make, but I need a goalie. And
that's a good way to start this.
The list has thinned out quick here. I think it's a guy. I mean, I think he's a really good goalie. I think he's one of the better ones in the league. I don't love the team he's on, but I think I'll take UC Saros as my
Saros is just going to be that much more motivated to go out now that his GM doesn't have faith in him.
There you
go. Oh man, we're gonna hate each other by the end of this. Especially Matthew's gonna hate us all. All right, I'm closing out my defense right here, and I'm going with Stanley Cup winner, former captain. Yeah, he may even be in my team's leadership core. I don't know yet. We'll probably. I'm very adamant about naming captains for my fantasy teams. Alex Pietrangelo, welcome to the squad.
There you go.
That's a solid pick.
That's a good pick. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm up. I have a goalie, one goalie, Shesterkin. I have Hedman on defense, and I have two top goal scorers in Matthews and Ovechkin. I'm a little bit, I'm looking okay. I think I'm going to go another forward here. I don't care how long he's out. I think he's actually been skating, which is good. So I'm going to tandem up Sidney Crosby with Alex Ovechkin.
Oh my God.
And we're going to roll with the punches on IR. Wow. And this is still one of the best in the game. So we're going to do that.
Well, now that they're getting along so well, might as well have them on the same team, right?
Brothers now. So.
I mean, yeah, that's true, right? They're hanging out every weekend.
Oh, I thought I was going to get away with getting Crosby there. All right. Well, Crosby just came off the board, so why not get the guy who likes to ride shotgun with him, right? I'm going to get Jake Gensel because he's out right now with COVID, but he'll come back, and he's going to score when he comes back. So,
yeah.
All right.
Boy, oh boy. We keep saying how many picks we're surprised they've made it this far. And it's actually kind of true because there's some pretty good picks here on the board. I've heard his name mentioned a couple times, so he's thinking about going that route. And I have a feeling that Winnipeg is going to be a very good team. I have a feeling he's going to get a lot of ice time.
No.
He's going to make a jump. No. For my pick here.
Oh, okay. Thank God.
You're tipping your hand there with that one.
Okay. It's a good thing that Jim didn't take my pick because even though he's suspended, I'm still going to go with him. Mark Scheifele.
Yep.
That was good. I was thinking between the two of them, but I got myself pegged that he was going to get about 80 points this year. I may be shooting way too high, but you never know. All right, Adam, you're up.
So here's the question: Do I make Matthew's birthday a little bit more painful by taking JT Miller here? Or
I mean, it can't get much worse now.
Don't do that.
Defensive scoring. As much as I do not like Toronto, there's only one player that I'll ever select from their team. Defenseman Morgan Riley from Vancouver.
And there's the arrow in Alex's heart.
He's dating, or as far as we know, he's dating Tessa Virtues, the Canadian gold medalist. So you got to pick him.
Yeah,
did not appreciate
strategy,
that.
I suppose.
Adam, that felt kind of personal. I'm not gonna lie, man.
All right, Alex, are you gonna pick somebody who's got a hot girlfriend, or what are you doing here?
What's their expected hot girlfriend over 60?
See. Jeez. Oh man. Wow, that really threw a wrench into my plans there.
20 seconds. 20 seconds.
Jeopardy theme music.
15.
All right, I'm gonna go for a guy who does it all, and he's a great leader. I love him. He's don't let him near Tim Hortons, but Ryan O'Reilly.
That's a good pick.
Don't let him near Tim Hortons.
I didn't want to take Landeskog so I could take O'Reilly, but how do you not take a guy named Factor? Oh man.
All right, Matthew.
I'm going with the aforementioned JT Miller. He looked really good in the preseason. I think he's going back to the lotto line when the season starts. So, JT Miller.
Solid pick.
All right, Sean, what are you thinking here?
Well, I know, none of us like to take our rivals. And although this is contentious in itself, I do have two favorite teams, obviously, Leafs and the Hawks. So I'm going to have to pick somebody that is a rival for both. Probably the only player I like from this squad, just because he is a stand-up guy and the fact that he's Canadian does help. Every category in our pool, I don't care how old he's getting, is going to still get points, especially on the line he's on. So Patrice Bergeron, welcome.
Fair.
Yeah.
It's probably the only guy on the Bruins I don't hate as a Leafs fan.
Yep.
Nobody hates Bergeron.
You
can't.
No,
it's impossible.
All right, Jordan. Jordan, you get two picks in a row here. What are you thinking?
Alrighty, so this guy, I mean, they just signed Philip Deneau in the offseason, so you got to think this is going to take the burden off them. They got guys like Victor Arvidsson to put on his wing potentially. So now you got to think here. I'm picking my second center of this draft, and that's Anze Kopitar.
Interesting.
I like his upside this year.
Yeah, he could have a fantastic year, or he might not do as much as we're all thinking. He's an interesting guy because he's you never know, and who knows what LA is going to do this year, right?
Definitely.
All right, Jordan, you get to go again.
And with my second consecutive, I mean, this guy's a fantasy monster, but he's also the most controversial player in the NHL, especially. So I'm a little bit scared to take him, but I think he's going to have a major bounce back year compared to his year in Columbus. And I'm picking Seth Jones of the Chicago Blackhawks.
When you said controversial, I thought you were going to take Evander Kane.
I thought he was going Tom Wilson.
I'm like, please take.
I was thinking you were going to go Tony DeAngelo. I thought there were a lot of players that could have fallen under that umbrella there.
Yeah.
All right, Sean.
Well, back to proving my fandom, I got to make sure I pick up someone quality here since I'm not going to be picking for another 20 or so. And to round out my defense, I want to get a guy who's solid. He's a Stanley Cup winner and hopefully going to bring that pedigree to the Leafs for the kind of season that they do need. So if it's not going to be Morgan Riley, it has to be Jake Muzzin.
Awesome.
All right, Matthew.
All right. I am going for my second defenseman, who I predicted on podcast that he's going to win the Norris Trophy this year, is Miro Heiskanen.
Oh, awesome. Good one.
He kind of he started the ball rolling on all those big blue line contracts this year, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
All right, Alex, what are you thinking here?
All right. So I was thinking Miro Heiskanen, but I'm not going to be mad at Matthew because there are a couple of defensemen that kind of caught my eye there. And I did notice Aaron Ekblad's looking a little lonely on my defensive core. So I figure I got to bring in another guy who's capable of contributing in multiple areas on the back end. So I'm going to go with a guy who scored 18 goals as a defenseman last year, Jacob Chicker.
Good pick.
Just had on my list. That's a good one.
Yep.
It was between him and Heiskanen.
This is the moment in the draft where everybody starts throwing things in.
Matt, I actually thank you for making my pick easier there because I didn't know who I was going to go with between those two. So,
all right, Adam's up. What are you thinking?
So I'm going to go down to the Florida area and pick the two-time Stanley Cup winner Andre Palat. I think he's going to have a big year. You know, he'll probably play on either the first or second line there. And yeah, great player, and for sure he can block shots, which is always a good thing.
Not a bad sleeper right there.
Yeah,
there you go. All right, Peter, 44 seconds for you.
I was getting really nervous because a lot of great defensemen were being taken, and I thank God I'm not going to rage at this because I finally got my guy. I am going to take Shea Theodore from the Vegas Golden Knights to round out my defense.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, I'm probably going to take a defenseman now too, just because I think if it comes back around to me, these guys are not going to be here again. And there's three that I'm kind of weighing back and forth with. I think any one of them is going to be not a bad pick, not a bad I won't miss. I don't think on any of them, but I'm going to take Thomas Chabot from the Ottawa Senators. I don't know how the Senators are going to do, but I think he's going to play like crazy. So we'll see where that one goes.
They won't make the playoffs, but they're going to make life hell for all their opponents.
Yeah.
That's what they'll do this year.
I'm excited for him.
Yeah. Devin, you're up, bud.
Well, I'm kind of stuck between doing a defenseman and a forward, but I feel like I'm going to project some good things for this forward and get him on my team. He was stuck on the Buffalo Sabres. Sorry, Jordan. And now he's going to play for the Florida Panthers. And I think he's going to do really, really well. Sam Reinhart is on my team.
I feel bad for Matt right now. Oh, man.
Sam Reinhart might be one of the more underrated players in the NHL for sure. I mean, he's starting to get noticed for sure. Like everybody's kind of, and outside of Buffalo now, we're really going to see what he can do, right?
So all right, Julian. I got three forwards, missing one defenseman. I have Hedman, and I'm going to go with another defenseman here to round that out quickly. It's another guy who plays all situations. He's a steady guy, plays top power play unit. And just for his contributions to hits and blocks and on the power play, Canadian boy, I'm going to take Drew Doughty here.
Good choice.
Nice, good pick.
He's going to have a solid year.
Awful choice.
He's a must be good.
Especially since you're next. All right, Sean.
Yeah, I think we know where he was going.
Honestly, he wasn't going to be this pick, but I had him in the queue. I was hoping he would drop a bit more, but it's about time I solidify my goaltending here. Let me see if I pronounce this right. Kata Hot.
If he has a bounce back year, he could be the pick of the draft.
Yeah, I
just think that the team's going to be a lot better. So even if he struggles, I feel like they're going to pick him up a bit more than they did last year. A lot more than they did last year.
So
yeah,
I'm going to take. I'm going to take another defenseman because I have Draisaitl, Zibanejad, and Connor up front.
Solid.
Is that good?
Notes.
Without Weber in the lineup, I think this is a guy that puts up 40 points every season anyway. He's solid, and I think he'll get a lot more opportunity without Weber in the lineup. So I'm going to draft Jeff Petrie.
Mr. Petrie, good pick.
That's former Oiler. That's why.
Yeah, exactly. Stay into my roots.
Well, I appreciate that because this is my round, my back-to-back picks to shore up my defensive side. As you can see, my offense is stacked. My goaltender looks pretty solid. I just need some help on the back end. So with my first pick, I'm going to pick someone that has been hovered around 40 points last year. Quite a few of them, almost half of them on the power play. He's projected to get almost 70 points this year. And with about half of those on the power play again. He also does produce some hits and some blocks, and I think he's going to be a little more active this year. Rupe Hintz, welcome to Biscuits and Sauce.
I like the player, just the injuries, they've always piled up for the poor guy.
Yeah, that
like
is
to see
one
him in
thing.
a full year.
And then so for my next pick, like I said, I'm shoring up the defense. There's still quite a few picks out here that I really like. This guy is a assist machine. He's going to get quite a bit of power play time. He might not be, top line, but this guy throws a ton of hits. I'm going Neil Ponick.
Pionk. Okay. I was a little surprised if Pionk lasted this far, but then there's a lot of good defensemen on the board here too. So when we're really only taking 24 total, there's going to be some good ones left over. All right, Colton, what are you thinking here?
I think for my next one, it's a guy that's kind of struggled the past few seasons. And like you'd alluded to earlier, Jim, it's a team that has a lot of question marks right now, but I think Johnny Gaudreau's a guy going into a contract year here that needs to have a really good season if he wants to really hit it big in free agency. So I think I think he's capable of bouncing back, and I think that's who I'll take here.
Yeah, well, our fantasy drafts got him predicted at 72 points, something like that. And he could easily blow that out of the water if he decides that he really wants to play. All right, Sean, you're up next, bud.
All right. So quick recap. We got Nathan McKinnon, Showtime, Patrick Kane, Gabriel Landeskog, Adam Fox, Alex Pietrangelo, and Kata Hot. So now don't have a lot of forwards on this team. 35 seconds left. I got to go with a guy. I got to go with a guy who's one of my favorite players to watch. He's a big USA hockey guy. TJ Soshioshi. Welcome to the squad. I think he's going to have a good year this year.
Solid pick.
All right. So I'm up again, and I have my defense and goaltender already filled out. I have Hedman, Doughty on the back end with Shesterkin in goal. Matthews, Ovechkin, Crosby at the forward position. I like this player just because of how potent the top six is. Lots of power play time, and I just think the offense is so good. So I'm going to draft Blake Wheeler.
Nice pick. The Winnipeg Jets are going off the board in a steady pace here. Devin.
Well, this league, as we have it set up, really prioritizes health and production, of course. So I'm going to draft a defenseman who has played 371 consecutive games. That's me knocking on wood. And has done really well and could have a breakout year for the Philadelphia Flyers. That is Ivan Provorov.
Oh,
good choice. Good choice.
Good one. I love Provorov.
That's a good one.
I hear he trains like a beast.
He was definitely on my list.
I think he's going to have a really solid offensive season this year.
All right. So it's up to me now. I'm going back to a forward here. I'm at this point, goalie. I might as well wait a little bit. I think probably, there's still some good choices here, but I do like the ability to play on the power play a ton. I got to go with one of my own guys. I'm an Oilers fan. I haven't taken an Oiler yet on my team. I think he's going to get first unit power play time. I think he's going to move up. I think he's going to have a bounce back year and play really, really well. I'm going to go with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins.
Yeah, I was hoping he'd slide
pick.
All right.
All right, Peter.
Devin, this is payback. He was the only Maple Leaf to be consistent in the playoffs. I'm going to quote one of my friends. I'm going to draft Bill Nye, the hockey guy, William Nylander.
They're just trying to keep their spots on the pod now.
Yeah, they are. Yep. They heard they're getting kicked out, and they're like, all right.
We betrayed
my job.
I already sent them the text.
I got to save my job.
All right, Adam, what are you thinking here?
Well, I have no idea how this draft is going, so I'm gonna snatch this guy up quickly because he could be gone. I'm gonna go with who a lot of people think is going to be the Calder champion this year of Wisconsin, Cole Caulfield.
Ooh, that's a good pick.
As if he could score.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I was shaking in my boots a little bit there. And just to recap where my team's at right now, I've got Marchand, Svechnikov, and Ryan O'Reilly up front. I got Aaron Ekblad and Jacob Chickard on the back end. And then I've got Andrei Vasilevsky holding down the fort between the pipes. I was getting a little bit worried there because I got a couple of Canucks fans on either side of me. And I really, really hate to jump on the train of breaking the birthday boy's heart, but I need a pure goal scorer. And Brock Besser is sitting right there on the board. So I'm sorry, Matthew.
Hopefully he's healthy.
Brutal.
That's what I'm hoping for too. But I mean, his stats in 20, his stats are looking pretty good.
Healthy,
he had a good year last year, so
hopefully he's healthy.
Well, this is the kind of draft where if you have one or two players that are not healthy, we can kiss it goodbye. So we'll see where we're at.
All right,
Matthew, you're up. So
I'm going for another pure goal scorer that I think has a good chance of bouncing back in a system that's not John Tortorella's. So Patrick Laine.
Just queued him up.
Good pick.
Thank you.
Really good pick.
Just queued him up.
Yeah, that one goal he scored in preseason makes everything look like it's going to be dandy for the rest of the year.
I'm hoping so.
All right, Sean.
This is a weird team in my opinion out of the Central, and I know they might be competing with the Blackhawks as far as that potential last playoff spot goes, but any offense that comes out of the Stars is usually associated with this guy, and we know he's going to get some minutes. We know he's going to be playing in a lot of different positions. Again, in this particular pool, good across the board. So happy to add Sagan to my squad.
Oh, that's a nice one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's still there.
All right, Jordan, you get two in a row.
Alrighty, so I got my defense all figured out here with Jones and McAvoy. I got my goalie in Fleury, so I got to add a few forwards here. And this guy, I'm going with another two-way guy because he's going to provide everything I need for this team. And I'm going with Sean Couturier with the first pick. And I got a back-to-back here. So this guy, I'm going to take a younger player here who I think is going to play above what's expected of him. I really like what he's been able to do with the Carolina Hurricanes so far. I'm taking Marty Natchez.
Oh, that's a good pick.
That's a good pick. Back to Sean again.
So again, as a Leafs fan and in the Toronto area, we've seen what this guy's done for the superstars in this lineup, and I think he's going to be doing a lot more of that with the superstars he plays with in Edmonton. So the biggest workhorse that they're going to see added to that team this offseason, even with Keith joining that roster, is going to be Zach Hyman, and I want him on my team as a result.
Yeah, he's going to play in all sorts of situations, right? Whether he sticks on that top line or not, doesn't matter. He'll stay in the top six to play shorthanded. He's going to get hits and everything else. So good pick. Okay, Matthew.
This one's a tough. I'm going to go. I need to get a guy with some hits. So this guy is controversial, but Tom Wilson. He gets the hits. He gets the hits.
I heard he's got a big boxing match on opening night.
Depends
is he fighting Jake Paul?
As long as he doesn't miss half the season on suspension, he should be good.
He's actually fighting Logan.
Too, yeah.
Logan, either way. Either way.
All right, Alex.
He should fight them both, actually.
Yeah,
just either way.
There you go.
This is a little bit of a risky pick, I would say. But the thing is that if the risk pans out in my favor, I think it's going to end up being a steal. I'm going to go with a teammate of Tom Wilson's and take Evgeny Kuznetsov.
Another one for me.
That was a good one. Yeah,
he might have a lot to prove too, right?
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, he had a bit of a tough year last year, so hopefully a full 82 games and a fresh start will pay off in dividends for him.
Yeah. All right, Adam.
So we've gone to an interesting point of the draft where you got to debate. You got Jack Eichel and you got Brady Tkachuk still up there. Do you wait until to use that utility pick for either one of them, or do you take him because we only got 3 picks? Most of us only have 3 picks left, so something to think about. But for my pick, I'm going to go with the pride of Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, former Stanley Cup winner Braden Shen.
Nice.
Yeah,
interesting.
So you teased up this big,
literally,
whatever, and then didn't do either one of them.
Yeah, I wanted to get it in people's minds so that they take that. So that they
I see what you're planting the seed, are you? Okay.
We don't have any bench spots, do we?
No.
Or
no utility.
So utility. That's not a bench spot.
Yeah,
so
still counts.
Taking Eichel in this league is a very
risky.
It's a very big gamble.
Can miss half
I'll
the
say
season.
It's a bad idea.
All right, Peter, 30 seconds. What do you think?
He expressed his disappointment after Victor Arvidsson was traded. He can score. He can be a really good hitter. I'm taking Philip Forsberg.
Good pick. All right. So I took a quick look at everybody's team, and you all have goalies already. So there's no reason for me to take one at this point in the draft. I'm going to probably stick. I have my defenseman covered in Quinn Hughes and Thomas Chabot. So I'm going to go with a forward here. I'm not really sure where I want to go exactly. There's a lot of good choices on the board here.
I'll tell you who
Thinking he might have a good year. I'm not totally sure how much he'll play and if he can do it, but I'm going to go with Nick Suzuki from the Montreal Canadiens.
That's a solid choice.
I like that. I like that a lot.
He's going to have a big year.
All right, Devin.
Well, Jim, I want to thank you because I was kind of torn between two players and Suzuki was one of them. So you took my safe bet. I'm going to go with the risky one. Adam, shout out to you for kind of reassessing my sights here. Brady Tkachuk is going to sign at some point.
He'll play.
He's going to play, and he's probably going to do pretty good. And I happen to have his brother on my team, so you might as well unite the brothers. Brady Tkachuk is on my team.
And you just got to hire Keith as the head coach.
Yeah.
So you're just going to rename your team Tkachuk Cheese then?
Yes.
Julian, you sound like you've been thinking about that one for a while.
Yeah.
Well, that's his Instagram handle, isn't it? I'm pretty sure I think it's either Matthew or Brady's is Tkachuk Cheese.
Maybe. I didn't even know that. So fun fact.
I'm pretty sure.
All right.
Julian, I'll stick with the Calgary theme for Matthew Tkachuk there. And I just think that I'm just filling out forward spots here. I'm going to take a guy who's going to play top center on the Flames. He's pretty good shorthanded as well. And I think he's got a lot of upside, and that's going to be Elias Lindholm.
Yeah, he's a sneaky pick. Yeah. That guy always produces. Sean.
All right, fellas. Here we go. The last two picks that I have that I think someone would steal, because I'm having some fun with this last one. But for this one, now I don't think anyone else has done this. For my utility, I'm going with a defenseman. Now, I think he's someone who'll be playing some power play and penalty kill, and he's going to be blocking you some shots, projected for over 100 shots blocked and hits. Mackenzie Weegar. I also am picking guys who I've liked from hearing them interviewed, people who I like as people. He was on Mr. Curfew. I think he was on Spittin' Chicklets, but I like him as a guy, so I'm welcoming him on my team.
I think he's going to have a huge year. Huge year.
Yeah.
He was on my list to take next.
Sorry.
I'm thinking this one's a pretty risky one based off it's a pretty small sample size. When he was in Calgary, he did next to nothing offensively, but he throws a lot of hits. It says he's going to be playing with Huberdeau at least to start the year, so I'm going to draft Sam Bennett.
Oh,
yeah. Okay. This is a boomer bust.
Big hits guy.
Yeah.
He finished the year strong last season.
Yeah. Hopefully he keeps going.
So obviously I told you guys before we started the recording that I had not prepared, and I just realized my last pick, I thought I was picking from my defenseman pool, and I took Rupe Hintz, who is not a defenseman, so I do not have my defenseman shored up like I thought I did last round. So looks like I got to go back to the back end. So once again, I'm torn between two different players. This time I'll let you know, because I don't think anyone's really going to steal them out from under me, or you can't really right now. But John Klingberg and Tory Krug, both are projected to get right around 50 points or so. And they're both, pretty good on the power play and have a lot of hits and blocks in their arsenal. But with that, I think I'm going to go Klingberg to take and back up my defense there. So
wait for you to run out of time.
Yes. He loves as I had someone else on my queue because I'm looking around, right? So for my last pick, it's all about goal scoring. There's 3 goal scorers that I really like that are left on the board. But I really wanted Kyle Connor. I did not get him, and I think this player is going to help complement him. So we're going Pierre-Luc Dubois.
Interesting to see where he plays on their roster this year, but they got a really deep top 6.
They have a really good team, and I think they're going to be the surprise out west. I think they are going to have a chance to really make some noise this year.
Yep.
So my second last pick is a guy who didn't really get talked about until the end of the year. You heard his name pop up quite a bit, but one that was right in the Calder Trophy race. I'm going to take Jason Robertson.
Oh, good one.
All
right, Sean.
So here's what I'm thinking. I have 2 guys. I've already got my captain named Alex Pietrangelo. He has an A on his chest, but you need someone with even more championship experience to guide him along the way. Pietrangelo is signed long-term. This next player, Captain Serious, Jonathan Taves, to play with his buddy Showtime. He's towards the end of his contract. He'll probably be re-signed, but Pietrangelo is the guy, and Taves is going to help take us to the promised land.
Great pick.
Nice.
Okay, so I'm up next. I think I have my hits and blocks pretty much covered between Hedman, Doughty, and Ovechkin. I kind of like that already. So I'm just going to go strictly on points and offensive performance here. So I'm going to head over to the state of Missouri. Is it the state of Missouri?
Yeah.
I'm from Canada. Okay. State of Missouri. Yeah. And we're going to go with David Perron.
That's a great choice.
All right.
That's
Devin.
a solid choice.
Well, let me throw this out there to you guys. Would you rather bet on kind of a proven thing or maybe on some upside that might surpass the proven thing? What would you guys rather do?
At this point of the draft, goalie upside.
Go off the wall.
Yeah.
Go off the wall, buddy.
Well, I actually like this player a lot. I don't get to watch him as much as I would like to, but I did draft Provorov from Philadelphia. So I'm going to pick Joel Farabee from the Flyers. I actually think he has a lot of upside heading into this season.
That's a solid choice, I think.
All right. Well, I got 2 picks left. I'm down to my utility player and my goaltender. At this point, everybody's taking a goaltender, so I'll get to pick who's ever left. So I'm going to go with my utility player at this point. And I've got her down to 3 choices, kind of for me, who their line mates are going to be in 2 cases. And one is just what kind of a year he's going to have, based on the fact that I think he's going to be the guy we talk about all season long who's going to get traded. I don't imagine he's going to stay with his team till the end of the season. I think Tomas Hertl is going to have a massive season. So that's my pick for my final utility player there.
Hertl was my safe pick from the last thing.
I actually like the Hertl pick. And I think he's going to have a pretty good year this year.
Yeah.
Hoping. All right, Peter, you're up.
I believe it was Sean who made his defenseman a utility player, and I am going to do the same thing. And I'm going to be a tough season knowing that Evgeny Malkin is going to be out, but you still got Crosby, you still got Gensel, and on the back end, I'm surprised he's still up there. I'm going to take Chris Letang.
Ooh, there you go.
Okay.
Good pick. All right, Adam, you're up.
So for my pick, I'm going up to the Ottawa Senators. And going to their first line. You know, we don't know when Brady Tkachuk is going to sign, so this guy is going to have a massive year in my estimation. He's going to play on the power play from the hockey hotbed of Fort Wayne, Indiana. I'm going with Drake Batherson.
Solid choice. That's going to be my final pick if he's still on the board.
I have him in a league or 2. I'm excited for him.
Yeah, he's going to be solid this year.
All right, Alex, you got 48 seconds to make your pick.
All right. Much like Marchand earlier on, this guy is also notorious for torching me in fantasy. So if you can't beat him, just get him to join your team. That's kind of the mindset I'm going with here. So I'm going to go with, from the Vegas Golden Knights, Jonathan Marchessault.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nice. That's good. He's always reliable.
All right. I'm going to follow the trend of the utility player and the defenseman. And this is a guy that's going to be, I think, the next captain of the Columbus Blue Jackets, Zach Werenski. He's going to be on the power play with Laine. I think that's probably going to be their best part of that team. So we'll see what happens. But Chinnikov and Sillinger on that team too. I don't know. We'll see. That Werenski.
Offense has to run through him, right?
Yeah.
So second last pick, I solidified my D and my goalie early on, so I could just fill out the forwards and make sure I have enough scoring power here to torch the rest of you the rest of the way. And it seems to be working out so far. So I'm just going to continue that trend, because most of us who think Cole Caulfield's going to have a big year have to remember who he's playing with and who's going to help him do that. After finding a nice home in Montreal since he joined that squad, it's hard to see him doing anything more than putting even more points on the board. And if he's not, he's going to throw his body around. So Tyler Toffoli is joining the Oakville.
Solid
pick.
Shorthanded points contributor too.
Except he doesn't play against the Canucks all year, so you may lose 10 goals. You're losing.
We didn't really count on with this draft and talk about much. It's the fact that the divisions are all changing around again.
Yeah, it's going to be good to see teams in different teams finally.
All right, Jordan, you get your last 2 picks in a row here.
Alrighty, so I still need a forward and a utility here. And guys, I'm gonna go complete boom or bust here with both of my picks here, because I believe if I really hit on these, I'm going to win in this fantasy league. I truly do. So the first one here, I'm going with Jack Hughes, who by all accounts is very confident that he's going to have a breakout season everywhere he's gone, all the media tours. That's the guy I'm picking. This next one, I'm pretty sure you guys will be surprised by this, but it's a defenseman for my utility player. He put up 2 goals against the Vancouver Canucks. He's likely going to get top pairing minutes for the Seattle Kraken. I'm taking a huge bet on Vince Dunn.
There you go.
I like that.
All right.
Interesting.
I like that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, Sean.
It's funny. We have similar ways of thinking as far as what might come out of Seattle, and I'm thinking if we know that they're not going to replicate what Vegas did, but the reality is they're going to get more points on the board than I think people are giving them credit for. And in order to do that, they're going to have everyone firing on all cylinders. So, someone who is a bit of a wild card pick, but has left quite the impression on us Toronto Maple Leafs fans. I'm going to go with who looks to be their first line center, Jared McCann, as my last utility.
Maple
Sean, Leafs legend.
Jared McCann is going to score Seattle's first goal against the Toronto Maple Leafs, and it's going to be off a Justin Hall giveaway. That's how it's going to happen.
Or Alex Kerfoot.
Works for me.
All right. My last pick, way off the board, but from what I've seen in the preseason, going for a guy's probably playing the top 6 in Toronto, Michael Bunting.
There you go.
Nice.
Like that.
Nice.
I am me likey that pick. All
Hit,
right, so
skate, block.
Especially with that Mikheyev injury as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
all right, so this could be a little bit of a gamble, but I really liked what he did in his short sample size last year. I'm probably going to use this utility forward on a forward just because I want to have as much firepower as possible, as much offensive prowess, and I am going to go with Alexander Radulov to close off my draft.
Nice pick. Nice pick.
All right.
Nice. Good one. Good one.
All right. Adam's up, right?
Okay, so for my last pick, I'm going to pick a player that I think will not finish the season with his team. He has been the captain of the Philadelphia Flyers for many years. So unlike 2006, I actually know the name of the player I am drafting, and that is Claude Giroux.
Where's he going?
I don't know. I just think that that's a name to watch, especially at the trade deadline. His contract is up. We'll see.
Drew for Eichel straight up.
All right, Peter, last pick.
Really rough season last year, dealt with an injury, similar situation to Jack Eichel, but he is back with his team. He looked really, really great in the preseason. I know it's not a whole lot to go off of, but I'm hoping that he could bounce back. I'm going to go with the Sank Show himself, Vladimir Tarasenko.
Yeah, I mean, he sounds like he's prepared to just do what he needs to do in St. Louis. So whether he gets traded or not, he looks like he's back. As long as he's healthy, it's going to be good.
He needs business.
Yeah. All right. Well, my last pick, my last pick is a goaltender. You guys left them all for me. My thought process here was who's not part of a pairing.
Yeah,
that we may not see like equal splitting, right? So we're going to go with somebody who's going to be in net a lot, and then which team is probably going to be the one that picks up the most wins. So I had considered Spencer Knight from Florida because I knew they were good, but then there's a Bobrovsky thing, so I'm not really sure. I'm actually going to stick with either Carolina or St. Louis, and I'm going to go with Jordan Binnington from the St. Louis Blues.
There you go.
I have a feeling he's going to get a ton of starts, and St. Louis is going to be a pretty good team, so he'll get lots of wins.
I got ripped in my other league for taking Binnington, but I had the same reasoning. Like, he's going to start a lot of games. I think they're going to make the playoffs.
So here's the question for Jim: do goalie penalty minutes count?
Do they register that as a hit? How does it work?
You want some smack talk? He'll bring it to you. That's for sure.
That's right. All right, Devin, you're up, bud.
Well, I'm on this show right now, and I'm wearing a Vegas Golden Knights hat. But you all probably know me from the Hockey Writers Grind Line.
Yeah, you might not be invited back either.
Yeah. Oh, I'll be invited back. Don't you worry. If there's one constant theme with all of my fantasy teams this year, it's that I have this guy on my team. I think he's going to be a strong Calder Trophy candidate. Mr. Moritz Seider.
Not Raymond. I was getting ready to chip. If anyone watches our show, Devin is the conductor of the Lucas Raymond hype train.
Oh.
Apparently switched tracks for this.
Moritz Seider is my favorite non-Leafs prospect in the league.
Oh, I love that kid.
I think he's going to be a hell of a player, and I think he was a steal at 6th overall.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
All right, Julian, you got
all right. So there's
seconds.
a lot of good players still available. I have the utility spot to fill. I was going to initially fill it as a forward, but I'm kind of thinking what everybody else is thinking and, getting some more shots blocked and hits by picking a defenseman who's still offensive. So with that said, I'm going to head over to the West Coast and how the mighty have fallen in previous drafts, but I'm going to go ahead and take Brent Burns here.
Burnsy.
Pick.
Okay. All right, fellas. So there's off the board, and then there's hold my beer. I got to take a walk. Now, I want character on my team, and I love guys. As I said before, I hear them on interviews. You get to know them more, you love them. How is this for some character? You have to work your way up 350 games, over 350 games in the American Hockey League before he became a toe-back champion.
Pat Maroon.
Pat Maroon. I don't know if it went through on the website, but I made a little Big Rig. Got to take my namesake. Big Rig, welcome to the squad.
Solid choice. That might be my favorite pick, Sean. That might be my favorite pick of this whole draft. And I got the first overall pick, so that's saying something.
Well, we're gonna go through some of our favorites here in a minute. We got two picks left.
What Kyle's trying to say is he wants to trade you McDavid for Pat Maroon.
Oh, darn. No trades in this league. Darn.
They have good chemistry, those two. All right,
I think a guy I like here. He was really good in Florida last year. Very small sample size, but good numbers in the minors. He's kind of a late bloomer, but supposed to play with Barkov. I've got a bunch of Panthers on my team, but I think I'll draft Carter Verhaeghe. I think he could be in for a really good
That's
look.
awesome.
Solid.
He was one of 5 players Lou Lamoriello thought was worth less than Michael Grabner. So
I had Verhaeghe as one of my final choices as well, but I'm sitting here with the final pick of this draft, and on my queue, I have Anders Lee, Nicholas Backstrom, and Evenji Malkin still sitting up there. And I mean, right now it's between Lee and Malkin, because Malkin's going to be back in like 2-3 weeks, and he's still a premier player in this league. Like, he's still going to put up a ton of points. Anders is expected to get over 50 points and put up over 100 hits. It's really kind of back and forth. I think the better team of the two is going to be the Islanders. So I'm going to finish the draft with Anders Lee.
Nice pick.
Good one.
Good finish.
All right, so
I'm pretty sure Malkin's supposed to be back in January, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, did they get extended?
Yeah, it's January.
Oh, okay. Because the last thing I read on that was it was like 2-3 weeks. So, like I said, I didn't do any reading today.
2-3 months.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So here's what I'd like to do. If you guys have do you guys have about 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Of course.
Okay. So here's what I'm thinking we should do. And it's not going to make sense for us to go through our entire team and read them off, but here's what I think we should do is each go through and pick one player that we think is a surprise that wasn't picked. So somebody who didn't go in this draft, somebody that was in the list but didn't get picked. And then I want you to go through and pick your favorite pick from your own team. So of all your draft selections, who's the one that you were either surprised to get, happy you got? Obviously, Kyle's going to be happy to get McDavid first overall, but he might want to go off the board with his explanation. So let's start with the birthday boy, Matthew. If you had to pick a player that did not get drafted in this draft and you're surprised didn't get drafted, who would you select?
Well, I mean, I'm going Nicholas Backstrom. He is on the IR, but it's a guy that he may still he'll be coming back, and he's going to probably play with either Ovechkin or who's that? Who's the other winger that they have on the second line?
Anthony Mantha.
Mantha. So I mean, it's interesting. He's still on the board. That's probably the one for me.
And your favorite selection of all your selections today, either that you got surprised that you were still available when you picked, or it was your number one target and you got him.
I didn't get any of my number one targets, so I'm gonna say it's Rantanen. He surprises me every time, and maybe I was surprised he was still there, but he's my favorite of the bunch, and close second is probably JT Miller, because just from what I saw in preseason, I think he's ready to have a big year.
No, those are both good choices. I'll go next because I'm just going in the order of the video as we're seeing it here on Zoom. For me, I had 2 forwards that I was thinking about taking, but my last pick was a goalie, so neither one went. Taylor Hall, I'm a little surprised he did not get picked. You don't know what he's going to do every year. He's either fantastic or he's not so great. And Kevin Fiala for the Minnesota Wild. I was a little surprised that he'd get picked. As far as my actual team goes, I was right in the middle of this draft. I picked 6th out of 12. To get Panarin at number 6, I have a feeling that guy's going to score a crazy amount of points. So I'm real happy. I'm happy to get Kaprizov too, even though I'm not sure exactly what he's going to do. But that was my pick. But I was a little surprised that Taylor Hall and Fiala did not go. Peter, what about you?
I'm going to say Frederick Anderson, given the fact that, the goalie situation in Carolina, you had Alex Nedeljkovic and then he was gone, and then Peter Mrazek signed in Toronto. So thinking that he would have been the guy to go in that, get 30 wins, projected for 30 wins and 3 shutouts. I thought maybe he would have been picked up, but hey, it's all good. But
I had considered him. He was my other option. I took Bennington, but I was considering Anderson too.
And for my favorite player, the easy answer would be David Pastrnak. I mean, guy won the Rocket, before 2020-21, before the season went on pause. But I'm going to say William Nylander, and I'm not being biased. It really is because of the fact that he's getting an elevated role in the power play. He looked really good. He bounced back, or not necessarily bounced back, but looked really strong in the playoffs. And being with a rejuvenated team and John Tavares on his wing, I think they're going to feed off each other really well. And that stacked power play unit, again, is just my number 1 reasoning.
Well, he stuck around a long time. You got him way late too, didn't you?
Yeah.
Good All right, Sean, player you're surprised didn't get selected, and then your favorite choice for your draft team.
Sean, are we talking about?
Yeah, you, Sean.
Sean
or there's 2 Seans on this call, so Dylan.
The player, to be honest, I'm surprised by, and it's going to be a name that's going to throw you guys off, because it's not about star power, but you got to remember that hits are worth something in this league. So the fact that Radko Gudas is so good at piling them on, that's a guy that was going to get you points regardless, even if he never saw any actual points or actual production. This guy was going to get you, 150 fantasy points just because of how much he throws his body around. So I know it's an odd one, but Gudas definitely surprises me because I thought someone would have picked him up for that reason alone. As far as the favorite on my team, he was my first pick for a reason, and I got to go with Alex DeBrincat. I've loved that kid since he became a Blackhawk. He's still, 24 years old, not even yet, and he's going to really start to shine and elevate even higher than he already is. I know some of our Detroit Red Wings fans in this group here got to see him firsthand a little more than usual last season, and got to sort of see firsthand that the team is not all about Patrick Kane anymore. Alex DeBrincat is ready to go, and he's already going. So with the way this team is improving and getting ready to contend with the moves they've made, with what they're trying to do, he's going to be a player that's going to perform. So having him on my squad means I'm in good shape in that regard.
No, I thought that was a good pick too. All right, Jordan, you're up next. So player that you were surprised did not get selected, and then your favorite or surprising pick for your own team.
I got to say, I'm pretty surprised that Joe Dallas Stars was not selected, because he's a guy that, has just completely rejuvenated his career since going to Dallas, because people thought he was going to be terrible. That $7 million wasn't going to be worth it. Well, guess what? He led them to the Stanley Cup Finals and followed it up with a point per game season as probably the best net front presence in the entire NHL, in my opinion. So I'm surprised he wasn't taken there. And in terms of forwards, I got to go with Mitch Marner. Yeah, half of Leafs fans, we've already talked on this guy, but he's going to produce in the regular season no matter what. And I would have to imagine he bounces back in the playoffs as well. This is a guy that's a surefire going to be a monster for my team. So I'm really glad I have Marner on it.
Adam, same questions.
Okay, so for me, the most surprising player that wasn't picked was a player that I think should be the captain of the New York Rangers, Chris Kreider. He had 115 hits last season. He is projected to play on a line with Mika Zibanejad and Alexi Lafreniere, depending on how they want to use Artemi Panarin and Barclay Goodrow this year. But that's a player that I'm very surprised didn't go. He gets you those points for hits, and he can block shots. He's not the best at it, but you know what? He can score goals and put up assists. So that one was a little bit of a surprise. And for me, I got to go with the 5'7" rookie of the year, Cole Caulfield. You know, that was my pick that I was looking at. And as I said, I had to jump on it early because I had no idea where he was going to go. I think that Cole Caulfield is just going to light up the NHL this year. You know, he's not going to put up a lot of assists. He's going to be one of these guys that probably averages 60%, 40% goals in the NHL. But I know he's small, but he is going to have a huge year for the Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah, they're going to need him to be good if they want to get back there again, aren't they? All right, Alex, what are you thinking?
So the player that I am a little bit surprised that nobody took, just because I know we had a couple guys go off the board. We had a couple guys take some risks. And I'm surprised that nobody took a flyer on former first overall pick Alexi Lafreniere in this draft, because I think he's going to get some top 6 minutes. And obviously he was a little bit underwhelming in his rookie year, but then again, Joe Thornton had 7 points in his rookie year. And we all know where Jumbo is now. So, I think I think Lafreniere really has some potential, you know, playing alongside of maybe on the power play with Zibanejad and Panarin. I think he has potential to really have a breakout season in the NHL this year. In terms of my favorite pick, I'll give an honorable mention to Andrei Vasilevsky, just because I feel like he's the most dependable guy on my team. Like he's between the pipes for the Tampa Bay Lightning. So you know what you're getting from him. And having said that, I think my favorite pick on my team, I would have to say Jacob Chychrun. Because it was obviously a little bit of a smaller sample size last year compared to previous years, but he scored 18 goals in 56 games. And for a defenseman, that's almost a 30 goal pace over a full 82 game season. So if he can replicate that kind of offense from the back end this year, to get 30 goals from a defenseman, I mean, might not be that much, but I think he has potential to do some real damage back there. So
he's gonna lead the Coyotes in scoring anyways.
I was just gonna say that he might be their highest point producer. Depends on where Kessel winds up, I suppose, right? All right, Colton, what are you thinking?
Well, I liked your Hall pick for a guy that didn't get taken, but I think two other guys for both hits and points. I know he's kind of trailed off in the last couple of years, but Jamie Benn's a guy that can still put up 50 to 60 points, a ton of hits. And then another guy who I think is going to bounce back in Philadelphia is Travis Konechny, who again throws his body around and I think has a ton of offensive potential. As far as my favorite pick on my team, I think Carter Verhaeghe, again, just my very last one there. I think that's a guy that honestly could flirt with 70 points if he's put in the right situation there. So I'm really excited to see how he does. So I think he's my favorite pick.
Well, Konechny can take out people without even trying to lay a hit. He just laid out Butchkin, didn't
he? Yeah.
Just stand there, I guess, right? Kyle, what are you thinking for your surprise and your favorite pick?
For my surprise, I have to agree. I think Chris Kreider was a big surprise for me that was not taken off the board, but I also want to throw a shout out to Pavel Buchnevich. I think he's going to have a introduction to the NHL this year in St. Louis. I think that's really the change of scenery is really going to help his game. And we talked about this a little earlier, you know, St. Louis is going to be a solid team this year. And him being there on their, you know, top 6, I think he's really going to produce for them. So I was a little surprised to not see him get taken. In terms of my favorite picks, I mean, you know, McDavid being there at number 1, that was just a gimme. Thank you guys. I appreciate the randomness. But I think my favorite pick, I got to say, I think right now is going to be Pierre-Luc Dubois in the 9th round. You know, he's going to, again, a guy that was traded last year, kind of took a while to get used to his surroundings. And I think this year being on that type of offensive power with those support systems around him, I think, you know, he's really going to have a good year this season.
No, I agree with you 100%. Julian, where are you at with your selections and who didn't get going?
2 guys that I was, you know, from the same team actually that I'm surprised weren't taken were Teuvo Teravainen and Vincent Trocheck. Trocheck's a little bit injured. He should be ready for the start of the season. So I think Teravainen, you know, top line on a very good line alongside Aho and Svechnikov, especially top power play. That's a lot of points in your pocket. Probably because he doesn't, you know, do all the other stuff, hits, blocks, but for a pure point guy, he's definitely great. And from my team, I just like that Ovechkin felt to me. I think that given that three points per goal and, you know, counts the hits and then also the power play points, they're just locks there. So the power play bonus points are going to be great. The extra bonus points for the hits are going to be great. And I just want to see him put the puck in the net. He's been great to watch, you know, now that he's matured. Got the phone going in the background here. Eh?
Is that you? How ironic that it's while you're talking.
Yeah.
I thought someone was playing Legend of Zelda.
So did I.
We still got the landlines over here. Yeah. So just Ovechkin for what he's going to do. And, I was thanking you guys earlier because you guys drafted the 4 goalies ahead of him for me to help him slide into my lap.
Well, there may not be a more motivated goal scorer in the NHL.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah, for the next few years anyway. Devin, where are you thinking here?
Well, for the player that I was a little surprised to see didn't get drafted, I know that he plays for the Buffalo Sabres, so you kind of overlook players that play there. But I think that, like what I said about Werenski, where the offense is going to kind of run through him, I think the offense is going to run through Rasmus Dahlin in Buffalo. I also think that he has not hit his peak yet as a former first overall pick. He was just signed to a 3-year deal at $6 million per. I think he's going to live up to that and then some. And I think he might start doing that this year. So I think he would have been a real good high upside pick. I know I considered him. And then for my personal favorite picks, quick little shout out to Sam Reinhart, because I really think that I got some good value with that pick. But Darcy Kuemper is my favorite pick because Hellebuyck and Vasilevsky were both off the board, and I feel like those are kind of the 2 goats of fantasy hockey when it comes to the goaltenders. So then the next best thing, in my opinion, is get the goalie who plays for the next best team besides those 2 teams. And I think that's the Colorado Avalanche, and I think Darcy Kuemper is going to have kind of a coming out year because he's kind of been stuck in Arizona for the last few years. I think people are going to realize how good of a goalie he is.
Yeah, no, they're going to definitely discover what Kemper's made of this year. And if he's as good as we think he is, being in Colorado, that's just guaranteed wins. Lots of points there. All right, little big rig, Sean. What'd you think of your choices? Is it Kata hot?
Definitely high up there as my favorite selection, just because I think that not only he's going to have a bounce back year, but I think the team as a whole is going to be very good this year. If I recall, I think I had them making the playoffs as well. So I'm very interested to see how they're going to do. I'm also really pleasantly surprised that Patty Kane fell to, I think I said 22nd overall. I'm drafting on my phone, so there's a lot of different.
Yeah, it was. I remember saying it was right around the top 20, maybe just outside of it. Yeah,
that blew my mind. Honestly, Showtime, glad to have him. But Mackenzie Weegar, another team, the Florida Panthers. I think they're going to do really well this year. I loved them in the playoffs last year. I wouldn't have minded seeing them make a nice run, honestly. In terms of players I was surprised about, I'm going to give an honorable mention to Alexi Lafreniere. I think that both him and Capo Caco were rushed into the NHL, but that's a whole other conversation we could have about the unfair expectations of top 3-ish overall picks. We won't go down that road, but for me, it's Mackenzie Blackwood. And I think the Devils, as I've been harping on, these teams are going to have great years. I think the Devils are going to definitely not playoffs, but they're going to look a lot better than they did last year. I like some of their additions, and he should be the guy. If I recall, it's Scott Wedgwood and Jonathan Bernier are the other 2 goalies they have right now. I can't see him losing a spot to one of those guys. It's in my eyes, he's ready for a breakout year, and he could be valuable fantasy-wise.
It'll be really interesting to watch and see how this unfolds. And here's what I'm thinking, if you guys are up for it. A couple times throughout the year, I'd like to come back and revisit our picks and see where these guys are at and how they're doing. And we didn't do a lot of trash talking during this draft, which I thought we would. Everybody was very
up later,
complimentary of the other.
So
right? It's
a lot of like, oh man, you stole my pick.
A lot of good picks. Oh, that was a good one. Nobody was like making fun of anybody else for picking.
Kyle, I think that was like 90% Matthew saying that.
Yeah.
But you never know.
I was the other 10.
we got
a little bit scared.
Michael Bunting is just going to score 30 goals, and then
I'm just surprised we didn't have to bleep any words out, to be honest.
we got to do the next video at like 6 in the morning. I'll be mad cranky then.
I did get a little bit scared when Jim was picking a Winnipeg Jet, and I'm like, no. And then it ended up being Nick Ehlers, so I was happy about that.
Yeah, no, you know what? I was thinking about Scheifele, but then I'd read and heard and talked with a few people about what the year they think Ehlers is going to have, and that's kind of why I went with him. But I'd like to come back to this in about a month and just see where we're at, and if any of you guys are interested in coming on here again and just talking. And then we'll do a lot of trash talking because somebody's going to get hurt, and somebody
David's already going to have 100 points.
Yeah. But so if you guys are cool with it, I'd love to do that again. But for everybody else who watched this, thank you for being part of this.
Yes.
We enjoyed it a ton. We're going to have even more fun just watching to see how this goes. And there's, by the way, anybody's watching this, there's no real prizes on the line here other than maybe a little trophy that we're going to do and some bragging rights. And we'll probably write about it on the Hockey Raiders. So if you guys want to go to thehockeyraiders.com, check it out. We'll probably do a summary of the draft and talk about our picks and things like that. And follow all 12 of the writers here because they got great content coming out. The regular season is right around the corner, and they're all doing shows on the YouTube channel for the Hockey Raiders, and you can catch them on social media too. So, guys, thank you. I appreciate it.
Make sure
Matthew,
you put down
thanks for
in the
putting this all
comments.
together.
Make sure
and
you
happy birthday to Matthew.
Yes, happy birthday,
Put who
Matthew.
your favorite team is in the comments.
Yeah,
All
put your
the-
favorite team in the comments. Let us know.
Please let us know how we did.
Biscuits and sauce.
Like,
Biscuits and sauce.
Oh, big rig, baby.
And feel free to trash talk all 11 other people in this about their selections.
Absolutely.
All right,
My
guys.
team name's the only one that has boss in the name, so keep that in mind when you're picking your player.
that just means you're arrogant. That's all that means.
It just means I'm badass, actually.
Oh, we're starting the trash talk already. Save it for the next episode.
As we're cutting out the show, that's when the trash talk starts. So.
Cool. Well, for anybody who's Canadian, by the way, happy Thanksgiving.
Yes. Happy Thanksgiving,
You too.
guys.
Have a good one. We'll talk to you later. This has been another edition of the Hockey Raiders on all of our social media channels and our very first fantasy draft. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.